Hey y'all, it's that time of the day again where I have to read for 30 minutes. So let's get straight to it. Today is May 29th, May 29th, and yeah, guys, it's gonna be so great. It's gonna be fantastic. I love reading so much. And I'm gonna put this on Do Not Disturb. There. Okay. March 8th. Wait a minute. I assume that you all know the lines. I'm really shaky on my last speech before the end, Ralph says. I'm shaky on my life, Miser says. The class laughs. Look, have you got anything here that you can use as an independent activity? Yes, I could write a letter, an important letter. Get your pen and paper. And you, Rachel, straighten up the room so that it isn't as neat as it possibly can be while you say the lines. Should we do the lines mechanically? Rachel asks. No, as he concentrates on writing his important letter and you concentrate on fixing up the room. Adjust to each other. She nods and they begin. Ralph sits at the table and begins to write his letter, and Rachel straightens the book pile onto the bookcase. The words of their lines are actively filtered through his concentrated struggle to write a difficult letter and her determined efforts to straighten up the cluttered room. After a few minutes, after a few minutes, Meisner interrupts the scene. Okay, I want to play with this. The color of that text, the way it came out to you, depended on what you were physically doing at the moment, organizing the books, making the bed, writing the letter. Now, let's try something new. In this case, the organic, a big word color, a big word color of the text will depend on what's going on inside of you emotionally. In this scene, Rachel, the father whom you love, is about to commit suicide. He's ill, he's terminal, it's painful. And you, Ralph, are her rich playboy brother from Southampton. Your sister has telephoned you, and you've just jumped into your Jaguar to rush over to East Hampton, where she lives. To begin with, your dominant emotional color is your irrepressible good humor. Then it will change by itself, just as the color of the text changed, depending on whether you were reshelved, you were reshelved the books, or making the bed, or what you were writing in that letter. The book changed, the color changed depending on what you were doing at the particular moment, right? They both nod in agreement. So, Rachel, you'll start off with a preparation, an inner emotional state, no more fixing books. When you enter it, it's as if you were coming from your father's sick bed where the doctor has told you about his depression. Emotionally, the key is that you love your father, but the key to your inner life, Ralph, is that you're playing the female lead in the Southampton Country Club production of The Merry Widow. But do I say that to you because it's funny? But why do I say that to you? Because it's funny. It's a light and humorous thing to do. Do you remember what I said to you a week or so ago about the river and the canoe floating on it? Rachel earlier, the river for you was getting the room organized. Ralph, the river for you was writing the letter. Now we're advancing. The river is inner for you, Rachel. It involves around the fact that your father is dying. For you, Ralph, the river is that you're the star of the Merry Widow. Now, each river is going to have many kids of currents as it moves along. Do you understand? Yes, they both say. Fine. Don't try to do the whole thing. Do as much as you can do securely for next time. Meisner says, on Monday. Yes, they both say, fine, don't try to do the whole thing. Do as much as you can. March 12th. Joseph and Anna quietly read their scene from The Girl on the Via Flamina by Alfred Hayes. Meisner interrupts. Listen to me carefully, Anna. Here's a girl who comes from a very respectable middle class family. She's decent, sensitive, and well educated, a superior girl. In the war, she and her family were starving. They were terrible in Italy during the war. So what does this eminently superior girl do? She deliberately goes with an American soldier because Americans are rich and have everything. But it's interesting. She doesn't pick a bum. She picks someone who is his own way is as superior as she is. Then the police come and the sensitive girl is arrested and tagged. She's registered as a common prostitute. For her, this is a total demolishment. When she comes into the room, she's absolutely destroyed. That's the background for her emotion. Does the family know? Anna asks. No, but the family downstairs knows because they tell the soldier. Now, Joseph, you find out before you come upstairs what's happened to her, and whether you like it or not, you're the cause of her being tagged, a prostitute, right? So you can feel all her humiliation and degradation too, because of what you did to her without meaning to. Do you follow? Yeah. And I can give you one thing. Next time, get against a wall, break down and try to disappear into that wall like a cockroach. Take the emotional part of it very easy to begin with because you have to read the script. Don't try to do the whole scene next time. Try to start it, try to get it started emotionally. You take into that wall like a cockroach. Take the emotional part. Don't try to do the whole scene next time. Just get it started emotionally. Do you understand, Joseph? When I say if there was anything I could have done, I would have done it, isn't that where I found it? No. They already told you downstairs. So when I say my first line, would you like some cognac? That's the beginning. I started the emotion there. The emotion starts downstairs. Would you like some cognac? It's just a way of trying to cheer her up. So you want me to come in with a preparation and start the scene right there. Would you like some cognac? I want you to start the scene emotionally there. Any questions? Don't learn the lines, let them happen, improvise, do anything to bring you want to bring to life the feeling of your deg- degradation, Anna, and the feeling of your guilt, Joseph. You know what I said about the river and the words like the canoe that floats on it. Well, I want you gradually to start the river flowing. March 15th. Anna enters, closes the doors, crosses to the bed against the wall, and wraps herself in the dark green bedspread. After a few minutes, she begins to sob. Joseph enters, and the scene begins. His preparation is not deep and quietly subsides. He is grave, considerate, concerned, but not emotional. Anna is excellent. Her emotion is full and deeply affecting. The only impediment is her insecurity with the lines. Let's talk about this. Meisner says that can That was a big advantage. That was a big advance over last time. Learn as many lines as you can because when you have to start thinking about what the next line is, it breaks the flow of the emotion. Yet the problem here is not how to learn the lines. You know how to do that. The problem is the emotion. And you've come a good way in finding that in yourself. Do you know that? Yeah, I do, Anna says while wiping her eyes. Joseph, you can go further, especially in the beginning. It's almost as if you have to wait outside the door in order to get some kind of control over yourself so that she doesn't see how badly you feel. Do you understand? Yeah. Look, if you get 50% of this scene, you're 50% ahead of yourself. You follow? I do. So I'm patient and you should be patient. The problem is emotional. It's to bring yourself emotionally to the text so that, as I said before, the river I'm talking to you, Joseph, starts to flow with a reasonable degree of fullness. So if you get 50% of it, that's a big advantage, isn't it? Yeah, Joseph says. He seems discouraged. Joseph Morgan, I wonder, Meisner says. I just wonder whether you go far enough away from the play into yourself for your preparation. Do you understand? Yeah, I do. Make it personal, Joseph says. But somehow it takes a while for me to connect. I don't know how to talk about it. Somehow the circumstances have to become real to me. Maybe you want to make it maybe you want to make it too personal. I don't know about that. Usually at some point something kicks in and it becomes real to me. My preparation was very personal and it had to do with my family, but it leaves me. But if it leaves me, it leaves me. Don't try to get it back, Mazur says. I don't, you know. I think it's a matter of time. I agree. Just because we talk about it on Thursday doesn't mean that you're going to come in all set on the following Monday. It moves slowly. You see, the difference between Anna today and Anna on Thursday was a very real advance. And it was having its effect on you. You follow? Joseph nods and Meisner pauses for a moment. Suppose that you can't even remember when or where one of those poor guys who sleep on the street. Say you saw him eat out on the garbage pail and it turned your stomach. That might be just fine for this scene. Now that's personal to me, but it springs from my imagination. The highly personal nature of preparation does not mean literally personal. When my father died, we, the family, were standing by the grave. Meisner stands up, puts the voice transmitter into the right pocket of his jacket and picks up his cane. He walks around the desk to face the class. While they were lowering the coffin, I realized what I was doing with my foot. As the coffin was going down, the foot was going like this. His right shoe begins to shift on the ball of his foot as if he were methodically grinding out a cigarette or crushing a cockroach. Oh my God, Anna says quietly. You see? Look at her reaction, he says, pointing to Anna. Look at yours, he says to Betty. You were shocked, and she was shocked in a different way. Yet at that grave site, I felt nothing except don't ever come up again. Now, what could have been more personal than that? Yet now it doesn't do a thing for me, except perhaps to make a giggle a little bit. I tell you this point out the fact that you'll never know how something will affect you emotionally. If I had any shame or self respect, I wouldn't tell you that story, but I don't have. As Meisner returns slowly to his desk, Anna raises her hand. Sandy, when you say personal, and you just pointed out that something can be extremely personal and reality not have any kind of deep emotional effect on you, it is also possible, as you said to Joseph, that something can be too personal. When something is personal and affecting, but don't feel the need to keep it private. What? Right, and only you know the difference. When something is personal and affecting, but don't feel the need to keep it private. Um, where's my where'd it go? Where did it go? Come on, gang. Yo. Where where did my sticky notes go? I swear to God, I just had them. Oh my God, did I like oh it's right here. That's hiding. Keeping things private. Meaning, I'm sure, Anna says. The only 41 that didn't say anything, they never do, you know. Wait. Yes, I told one of my 42 analysts this story about my father, and he was very impressed with its meaning. I'm sure, Anna says. The other 41 didn't say anything. They never do, you know. Scott Roberts enters Meisner's office. Yes, that's the book, Meisner says. I gave it to the library 30 years ago. Scott hands him the small red book, Sigmund Freud's A General Introduction to Psychoanalysis. And Meisner flips through it for a few minutes. This is the passage you asked me about, he says, finally, pointing to a page toward the end of the volume. It's marvelous. I can't tell you how much this discussion of fantasy helped me clarify my thoughts about the dreadful problem of preparation. He returns the book to Scott. Please read this aloud, he says. I can't see very well. I can't see well enough. Scott clears his throat and begins to read Freud's pioneering text. Before you leave today, I should like to direct your attention for a moment to a side of fantasy life of a very general interest. There is, in fact, a path from fantasy back again to reality, and that is art. The artist has also an introverted disposition and has not far to go to become neurotic. He is one who is urged on by instinctual needs which are too clamorous. He longs to attain the honor, power, riches, fame, and love of women, but he lacks the means of achieving these gratifications. So, like any other unsatisfied longing, he turns away from reality and transfers all of his interests and all his libido to onto a creation of his wishes in the life of fantasy, um, from which the way might readily lead to neurosis. There must be many factors in combination to prevent this becoming the whole outcome of his development. It is well known how often artists, in particular, suffer from partial inhibition of their capacities through neurosis. Probably their constitution is endowed with a powerful capacity for sublimation and with a certain flexibility in the rep, rep, repressions, wait, rep, represses, reprecisions, repres, repressions, rep, rep, repress, repressions determine the conflict. But the way back to reality is found by the artist. Thus, he is not only one who has a life of fantasy. The intermediate world of fantasy is sanctioned by general human consent, and every hungry soul looks to it for comfort and consolation. But to those who are not artists, the gratification that can be drawn by springs of fantasy is very limited. Their ex, inexorable repressions prevent the enjoyment of all by the meager uh, daydreams, which can be conscious. A true artist has more of his disposal. First of all, he understands how to elaborate his daydreams so that they lose that personal note which grates upon the strange ears and becomes enjoyable to others. He knows how to modify them sufficiently to their origin in prohibited sources is not easily detected. Further, he possesses the mysterious ability to mold his particular material until it expresses the idea of his fantasy faithfully. And then he knows how to attach to this reflection of his fantasy life so strong a stream of pleasure that, for a time at least, the repressions are about balanced and dispelled by it. When he can do all this, he opens out to others the way back to the comfort and consolation of their own conscious sources of pleasure. And so reaps their gratitude and admiration. Then he has won through his fantasy what before he could only win in fantasy: honor, power, and the love of women. Roberts closes the book and places it on Meisner's mahogany ma, ma, mahogany desk. Isn't that marvelous? Meisner asks. Then he has won through his fantasy: honor, power, and the love of woman. I just love it. Oh, all right. That's it. That's all. Peace out. See you later tonight.